What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So the stock market's been all over the place today, guys. S&P 500 is currently down 0.2%. The Dow Jones is down 0.4%, and the NASDAQ 100's up 0.9%, as the Russell 2000's also up 0.4% with about 5 minutes left in the session. And today we're going to be talking more about the stock market, breaking down some technicals, going over a bunch of stocks to buy now, and I also want to share with you guys what stocks I actually own right now and where my head is at as a trader, as an investor, and my thoughts in general on the stock market as a whole. Are we going to sell off further, or are we potentially going to bounce back and maybe hit all-time highs here in the short term? So if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to join the Strive Smart Discord chat and the Facebook group, and also get yourself 4 stocks from Webull. All of those are linked down below, and guess what, guys? They're all free of charge. So let's get into it. S&P 500 right now, again, is down about 0.2% with 5 minutes left in the session. And do you guys remember yesterday in the futures market, the futures were green? What? The S&P was up like 20 points when we filmed the video yesterday on Sunday, and that actually continued into the morning, right? We can see we saw a big gap up in the S&P today. We closed on Friday at 3660. We ended up gapping up to 3675, and we saw a pretty hefty rally from 3675 all the way to about 3700, a little bit shy of 3700, which was about a 0.6% move in the first 30 minutes to an hour of the session. And what you guys notice here is we saw a pretty big resistance at 3700, and all of a sudden the market collapsed there, right? It failed to break out of 3700, it collapsed, and it downtrended for the rest of the day, and it's still downtrending right now on the intraday chart as we speak. And that's a bit worrisome to me, guys, because if I pull back here to the 5-day 5-minute, what you guys notice is, do you remember I was talking about the little 3-day downtrend the market has been in, right? 1, 2, 3 days. Well, today we tried to break out of it. Momentarily, we were breaking out of it, but the second we actually got hit at 3700, again, we failed at 3700, and we dumped off from there. Honestly, that continued the downtrend. If we were actually to break 3700 into the mid 3710, 3715 level, that would have been a breakout, right? That would have been a huge bullish move. But the fact that we failed at 3700, now we're pushing for lower lows. We actually took out the lows from Thursday, the point where we were before the close on the market on Thursday, and now we're actually pushing under the close of the market on Friday as well. This is telling me that the downtrend is still intact, and the S&P could be gunning for a lower low here, which could put it anywhere from 3630, maybe 3620, 3625, which obviously means that the bears in the short term are still in charge. Also, if you look here on the 4-hour chart, we're about to test again this 50 SMA right here, which actually is right around 3645. And I think if we do break and hit that lower low under 3630 and we collapse completely under this 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart, technically speaking, guys, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer. You guys know I'm not a doomsdayer, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a correction, and it's not even a correction because a correction is considered anything above 10%. That's the definition of a correction, a drop of about 10% or 10% or more from the top, right? And that's not where we're at. I mean, if we were to drop down to about 3,500, that wouldn't be a 10% drop. That would be about a 6% drop. So that's not even considered a correction. But I think overall, not to confuse anybody, I think if 3645, 3630 breaks, the 50 SMA breaks here on the 4-hour chart, I don't think it's too crazy to believe that, hey, we might be going to that 180 SMA at about 3,500, which again, that'd be around a 6% little drop there. And I think that's very healthy, guys. The S&P, the markets in general, yeah, they've pulled down a little bit over the past couple of weeks in different spurts. We've seen little 1-2% pull downs, but we haven't seen a significant pull down since October, right? In October, we went from 3,500 to about 3,250. That was a nice sell-off of 8%, and we rallied from there. We hit all-time highs. So I think markets are slowly due for another pull down. Not saying it's going to happen now. Again, I'm not a genie. I don't have a crystal ball. But I think eventually, whether it's this week, next week, 2021, I think the S&P has to pull down close to that 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart, and it'd be healthy, right? Everything needs to pull down. Pull downs are healthy, guys, and you've seen in the past right around that 180 SMA is where the S&P is held. So watch out for 3630, 3600 flat. If that breaks, we're going lower, in my opinion. And we see here the Dow Jones Industrial Average. There's a lot going on here, but same thing, right? If we break this 50 SMA, matter of fact, let me just clear this drawing set, guys. There's too much going on here. But if we break this 50 SMA, I can see a 4% drop in the Dow, no doubt about it. Maybe down to about 28,800, maybe 28,900, maybe 29,000, right? That's actually right around an old resistance from a couple months ago. You guys can see it right here if I extend this drawing line or this trend line, whatever you want to call it. We saw a double top on the Dow at about 29,000, 28,800, right? Right around there. You guys know that if you've been following the channel, right? And the markets for yourselves. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Dow saw a bit of a drop there, right? That's not much to ask for. Is that crazy to assume, guys? I don't think so. I think that's pretty healthy, right around the 180 SMA where it's held in the past couple of months. So I'm watching that for the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 ETF here, SPY, and there goes the markets, guys. This is one that a lot of people track for the S&P 500. So what level am I looking at for SPY here? Well, I'm looking at 363. That's the low from Friday. If that ends up breaking, I don't think it's too crazy to assume that SPY goes to 359, 360. So watch out for 359, 360 on SPY on the downside. And when it comes down to the good old tech-heavy NASDAQ, which, by the way, guys, the NASDAQ, the big stocks out there, the conglomerates, other than Google and Apple, I mean, they were down today. But the big boys, Netflix, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Tesla, they held up the markets today. Let's be honest. I mean, a lot of these stocks were up. Netflix was up 4%. Microsoft up 0.5%. Amazon up over 1.3%. Facebook up 0.25%. Tesla was up like 5%. So a lot of these stocks were holding up the markets, and that's why the NASDAQ was up more than the S&P and the Dow today. And I'm thinking if the tech stocks didn't do well today, I mean, the market could have seen a big drop. I mean, Dow could have been down 1.5%. S&P could have been down well over 1%, 1.5% as well. Who knows? But we're seeing tech do pretty decent. It's holding up pretty decent right now. And when it comes to the NASDAQ rather, technicals, what we're noticing is, okay, we gapped out of a resistance from last week, right? No doubt about it. 5-day, 5-minute, you can see it. Resistance last week was at 12,440. We hit that level, on Thursday? We fell breaking out. Same thing with Friday. We fell breaking out. We were in this little 3-day downtrend, as you guys can see. But today, we gapped out of it, which was good momentarily, right? It was good momentarily. We gapped out. We broke 12,440. We filled the gap up to 12,500, which is also a big resistance. But guys, we failed to break out of it, right? And we saw a double top. We dropped, and we actually ended up filling the gap back down to 12,440. And now we're actually holding 12,440 as a support. So out of all the indexes, the one that looks the most bullish is probably the NASDAQ 100 here, guys. So for tomorrow, watch out for 12,440. If this breaks, we're probably going lower, and we could be gunning for that lower low, which would continue the downtrend. So 12,440 breaks, we might be going down 12,300 here on the NASDAQ 100. So those are some technicals on the markets in general, some thoughts on the markets in general. I would argue that a pull down is coming. I would argue that. And again, I wouldn't be surprised. And that's kind of why I've been locking in some profits here. You guys saw on Friday, I locked in profits on EA. I locked in some other profits earlier in the week. You know, I've been slowly trimming out of my positions. And today I actually also got out of another position. So we might as well talk about what I did today. And let me know your thoughts on the markets. Do you think we're going to sell off? Are we going much higher? You think I'm crazy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you guys are enjoying the video, feel free to hit that like button. So let's talk, guys. What did I do today? Well, I ended up cutting out of Alibaba, guys, and this is one that it's a bit of a bummer that I cut out of it, because if you guys were watching my videos like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when I initially got into the position, I actually got in at 269. I locked in profits on half of the position, a little bit under 280 at about 279, and I let the rest ride, and it just didn't pan out. And with today's price action, the fact that we ended up dumping under this 260 level of support, I was like, let me get out of this, right? Let me get out of this. Let me play it safe, raise some cash. So I ended up dumping out of BABA at 260, and we kind of called it out, honestly. If you guys remember my video, I forget what video it was, but we mentioned the descending triangle. If you guys remember, comment down below. We mentioned the descending triangle on Alibaba that was forming, right? We saw a nice base at about 260 to 262, and we were making lower highs into that base. I mean, we called it out, right? This was forming up. This was forming into a bearish pattern, and the second it took out 262, I was like, all right, we're most likely going lower here. Let me get out. The descending triangle's playing out, and I got out at 260, and now, what do you know? It's at 256. So it looks like I made the right move here. In the short term, sure, it could bounce back up, but I feel comfortable with what I did here, locking out of cutting out rather of Alibaba and raising up some cash. But a couple of positions I'm still holding, guys, honestly, are two, or actually three positions. Apple, AAPL, it went down 0.5% today, but I'm still up a good amount on Apple. I'm in at about $112, so I'm still holding on to this one. And another one I'm still in is SLV. This is a silver ETF. I don't really plan on selling this one anytime soon, honestly. This is more of a hedge. I want some exposure to silver. I already have gold, physical gold, and I don't have exposure to much silver other than this position here. So I want to hold on to SLV, and Workhorse is another one here that I'm still in, which ended up going down about 2% today. I'm in at about $22 per share, and I think Workhorse, it needs to break 23 bucks. It's been struggling there like crazy on the 5-day 5-minute. You guys can see we struggled there last week on Wednesday. Wednesday, Friday again at about 22.75, 22.90, and yet again today pre-market we fail breaking out of the mid-20s again. So I think Workhorse is trying to figure itself out here. It's wiggling around, and eventually I think it is going to go higher. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in the position, and I'm just waiting for the break to add more into it. I think there's a lot of upside from 23 bucks up to about 25, 26. So overall, guys, that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm in Apple, Workhorse, and silver. That's pretty much it. And I've been cutting out of a bunch of positions, you know, locking in profits as well, just to raise up some cash and play it safe here. But I still want stocks. I still want positions open because I still want to have skin in the game, right? So let me know what you guys did down below in the comments, what stocks you own. Now let's talk about a bunch of stocks that I'm looking to buy right now, 7 in particular. And if you guys stick till the end, we're going to do 3 bonus ones. So 10 stocks here. Number 1 is Peloton, right? Peloton, this is one that's arguably not the best fundamentally speaking. And there goes Siri again talking to me. What the heck? That's weird. I swear, this watch is listening to me. I didn't even say Siri, and she's freaking talking to me. What the heck? Anyway, this one, Peloton, fundamentally is not the best right now with the V-Shock coming out. Hopefully the CV is coming to a close here in the next 6 months to a year. So fundamentally, it's not the best, but we're not looking to invest in it long term here, right? We're playing the technicals. And I told you guys yesterday, and I called this one out yesterday, watch out for this wedge, right? Watch out for the breakout of this wedge. If we break out of around $120, I was saying 118, 119, it's likely to go up and fill the gap to $130. Well, it didn't get to 130 quite yet, but it's showing the signs, the steps that it wants to get there. It actually ended up breaking out of 118. We ended up going up 4% today, almost $5 per share, and we closed right under $122. So for me at this point, I think honestly Peloton, again, not the best long-term fundamental play, at least in my eyes right now, but in the short term, if we're looking at technicals, momentum, and so forth, I think Peloton could get to maybe 130, maybe 125, 128. So I think it's still worth watching, although it did break out today. It's up 4%. You could argue it needs a pull down. I think it's still worth watching since, hey, even if it breaks 130, it gets to 130, that's about what? A 7% move, and above that, it could maybe go back up to 135, 140, maybe, right? Big maybe, and that could be around a 12% move. So I think Peloton's worth watching, no doubt about it. Canopy is another one, CGC, which is down a good chunk here from its roughly $30 high, down about 15%, and it hit that high last week, a couple days ago, right? And notice where we're actually pulling down to. This is a big level of support here. Let me show you all. This is actually a point where we saw resistance a couple weeks ago. When was that? Back in the middle of November, right around $25, $25.50, right? That's where we saw resistance. So I think this is a big spot, a big test for CGC to hold. $25 right around this 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart as well. I think if we could find support here, although it's still a falling knife, guys, so be careful, but I think if we find support, this could end up being a nice bounce back play. I'm thinking maybe from $24.50, $25, maybe back up into $26, $27, $28, maybe out of $30 resistance. Who knows, guys? You know, with Biden potentially, once everything goes through officially, you know, him being president, hey, this is going to be great for the MJ companies, and CGC could go up a lot higher. And as it's getting federally legalized here in the U.S., I mean, it's already there in Canada, I think this has potential. So I'm watching out for CGC in the coming weeks, coming months. I think there's a lot of potential there. And XOM is another one here. Exxon, or did I say XON? XOM, whatever I said. ExxonMobil. This is another one that I'm watching here on the pull down, and it's actually pretty attractive. I'm not the biggest guy with oil. I don't trade too much energy, but this one is setting up quite nicely. I mean, we've seen it pull down like this in the past. It's a textbook pull down, and we've seen it hold the 50 SMA like clockwork once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times in the past, right? In the past couple of weeks on this 4-hour chart. And every time it's hit that 50 SMA, it's rocketed back up and hit a new high. And we obviously know that energy is one of those sectors, industries that has gotten hit the hardest when it comes down to this crisis, the CV, the shutdowns, the traveling, you know, airlines not going, cruise lines not going, people not going anywhere. Energy has gotten crushed, right? And now it's slowly on the rebound. And this is one of the industries that, hey, if you bet on it, you can make some big returns on a return back to normal, you know, normal society, people traveling. I think energy is bound to recover. So watch out for this pull down on XOM, right? It's at about $42. That 50 SMA is right about 41, 41.50. So maybe we go down a bit lower. And if we do, we hit 41.50. We could be making a move back up to the mid 40s, you know, 40, 45, you know, 46, 47, and maybe we take out the high and go maybe to $50. So watch out for XOM. I like this one. Nvidia is another one. I've been talking about this one a ton. Today it went up 2.2%, held the support of the wedge. It ran up like crazy, and now it's right under this 50 and this 180 SMA, which I think if it breaks, we might be going up even higher. You guys remember my price target from Sunday's video, right around 545. I'm sticking to it. I think NVIDIA could eventually get there, and that's going to be the big test, right around 545. If that breaks, guys, that is where we might be seeing a bigger move in NVIDIA, closer up to the mid 500s. I mean, 545 is mid 500s, but probably higher 500s, maybe 570, 575, 580. So watch out for NVIDIA there. I think there's a lot of upside potential. Remember the Peloton chart? I mean, it's kind of similar to the NVIDIA chart. We have the wedge breakout, and that is what I'm looking at for NVIDIA. So watch out for this one. NVDA. Upwork is another one. UPWK, which went up 2% today, up 71 cents. And we're about to test. I mean, we already tested it earlier. We failed, but we're still holding a pretty nice support under it. We're about to retest probably tomorrow, some point this week, $37, which is a resistance from the middle of November, right? A couple times we got rejected there, $37, $36.70, right around there. And we're actually uptrending into that resistance. So this is kind of looking like an ascending triangle. Remember the descending triangle in Alibaba where we collapsed under the support, right? We're making lower highs into the support, and we ended up collapsing under it. Well, this is the exact opposite pattern. The exact opposite pattern is playing out here on Upwork, right? We're actually making higher lows into the resistance instead of making lower highs into the support, which is what we saw on Alibaba. So I think we're going to squeeze out of $37 on Upwork. It might sound crazy to some of you guys that have seen Upwork go from $14 since I've been calling it to about where it is now, but technically speaking, it could end up breaking out of $37, $38, and going to $40, which could be a move of about 10%. So I'm watching Upwork in that case. And NIO, guys, we can't make a video without talking about NIO. It went down 2.4% today. The sell-off continued. But like I mentioned in previous videos, $38, $39, that's a big level of support. And what do you know? We ended up holding that exact level in today's session. I mean, you guys can see here that's been support ever since the beginning of November, and we haven't been under $38, $39 since the beginning of November. So I think this is a place to watch NIO to hold. And you guys remember, we talked about the head and shoulder playing out here, and at this point, it's still intact, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and if we collapse under 39, honestly, that would be the completion of the right shoulder, which again is still in play right now. So I'm being careful with NIO, because if it does collapse under $39 to complete that right shoulder, who's to say it can't go mid-30s? I mean, I think it could go mid-30s. And either way, I think it's a win-win scenario, because if it goes down, we could pick up more shares at a cheaper price. But if it breaks out, we could just buy into the momentum. So either way, I like NIO. I think the sell-off is a bit exaggerated right now. In a couple of days, if I were to bet on it, again, I don't have a crystal ball, but if I were to bet, I think we're going higher here on NIO. Let's just say in the coming weeks. Let's not put ourselves in too big of a microscope saying a couple days. In a couple weeks, I think NIO is going to be going back up. So watch out for NIO above 38, 39, but also watch out this hourly chart. It needs to break out of these moving averages and around $42, $43. That is where I think the uptrend could continue. So NIO, another one here is Virgin Galactic, guys, which collapsed today, down 17%, and we called it. I knew this was going to happen. Once that test flight aborted, it didn't go as planned. Thankfully, everybody survived. Nothing crazy happened. It was a safe landing. I knew this was going to happen, right? I knew this was going to happen in terms of the stock selling off, and it collapsed 17%. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a multi-day sell-off. And I said that yesterday. I'll say it again. I don't think it's going to drop more, like another 10% tomorrow probably. No, I don't think it's going to do that. I think the bulk of the sell-off occurred today, 17% down. But if it went down 2% tomorrow, 1% the next day, 5% the day after that, I wouldn't really be surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we just consolidated a bit here for a week, maybe a week and a half at about, between $24, $26, bouncing around in there for a little bit. And then we ended up making our move back up. Nothing really surprises me with Virgin Galactic. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those played out. And at this point in time, what we're seeing in front of us is we saw a big sell-off to $23. We ended up holding the 180 SMA like clockwork here on the 4-hour chart. We broke back above $24.75. We filled the gap up to $27. And again, we're pretty much in a range between 24 and 26. So watch out what it does here. I think if it breaks mid-27s into the 28s, we might make a move up to $30, which was resistance back in the end of November. If 30 breaks, we could make a move back up to mid-30s, but I don't think that's going to happen unless we get another test flight, and even a successful test flight. And once Richard Branson hopefully flies up, whenever that does happen, that's going to catapult the stock, honestly, above 36, in my opinion, probably into the $40 level. So overall, guys, those are the 7 stocks, and if you stuck till the end, let's talk about 3 bonus ones. CRUS, and by the way, if you stuck till the end, let me know in the comments. Type in stuck till the end. I really appreciate you guys that really stick throughout the entire video. So Cruise, CRUS, is one that I'm looking at here as well. Down about $6 from its high, down about 8-9% from the high. And what we notice is it's potentially holding the uptrend here, right around this $76, $78 level. So very basic. I'm looking to see if this uptrend continues. If this trend breaks, we could be making a move down low 70s, right around that 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart. And even at that point, this could be an entry point. So whether it holds 78 and rallies up to 85, that could be an entry point. Or if it goes down to 72, that could also be an entry point for a trade, maybe back up to the high 70s, mid 80s, low 80s. So I'm watching CRUS here. Airbnb, guys, what do you know? This went down 6% today. It IPO'd at about, what was the original price? Like 68, 70 bucks. It opened up at 145, ran up to 165. Now it's dumping down aggressively. Today it hit 125 at its low, down 6%. And I'm glad I didn't pick up shares for the long term yet, guys, because the closer and closer this gets to 100, it's getting to be a better value. Let's put it that way. Right now, the market cap's like $70 billion. Last time I checked, if this thing gets to $110, $115 even, $100, I might nibble a little bit if it's about a 50, 60 billion market cap. And if it gets under that, I think that's a pretty good value when we're looking long-term here, guys, right? I'm looking to get this for a long-term investment, not so much a trade, because honestly, this is not a setup I like. We don't have much data to go with, and it's still downtrending in the short term. So I'm not really looking to trade this, maybe some day trading action, but long term, I'm going to pick up some shares soon. And SNAP Snapchat hit a high today or yesterday, or was that today? Yeah, that was today, $54. We're pulling down a bit from that high, down over 3%. So I'm watching Snapchat here, maybe for a move around this $48.50 SMA for the continuation of the uptrend. That could be a nice entry point in my eyes at about 48, 49. So watch Snapchat come down here. There's a lot of momentum. This could end up being a play. So overall, guys, that's it for the video. Hope you all found value. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to check out all the free links down below: the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Strive Smart Facebook group, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at StockSurfS, and get yourself those 4 free stocks, guys. I believe it's running out. Webull said 13th, but Webull always pushes things back, so go check the link down below. Maybe you could get 4 free stocks, or 2, 3 if they ended up putting it down. Who knows? But check out that link. Get yourself some free stocks. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate you guys a lot. Keep crushing it in the markets. Stay safe out there. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.